Can you all confirm that we have sound? We're on the shitty phone tonight because the unshitty phone is now shittier because it doesn't have sound. Um, Thanks, Joe. Yay, we have sound. Amazing. I'm sorry that the picture quality is like blurrier than usual, but you know, it's this. Oh, sorry to scare you, Gary. Um, I have received my Birkenstock boots. In fact, I had received them a week prior. I ordered them on Christmas Day. They came, I think, 4 days later before the New Year's, and I just have not opened them because for some reason I think I gave myself anxiety. And it's been like banging around in my brain for a while, so I guess I just want to talk it out and treat you guys like you're my therapist. But I think a lot of my brain has been tending um, unhealthfully in the regard of like trying to decide what kind of content I want to make. And I think a lot of it is now kind of oozing towards content everything, which I think is not good. Um, and so part of the anxiety, which I don't even understand why I put this pressure onto myself, but part of the anxiety was that like y'all donated the money to gift me these boots. I got the boots and then I wanted to make a video out of it, but like I wasn't even compelled enough to do a video for it, but it felt like a part of my brain was like, you should make a video about it because I don't know, it fits into the framework of you vlogging your whole life now, which maybe not. Maybe I don't vlog my whole life now because maybe I don't need to vlog everything to still make content for people to enjoy and to make content that I would enjoy. And so when it came clear to me over the past few days that opening these boots, the idea of opening the boots was giving me anxiety because of the baggage of having to make content for it. It was just like really silly for me to realize that, yeah, it was kind of like a thank you card almost. But this is gonna be my thank you card. Like, unboxing the boots that y'all bought me is a live thing. It's not an edited video thing. I've decided. Not to say that the boots won't make an appearance in a walking vlog if they work out and if they fit. And I think that's the second tier of the anxiety that came with these boots, is that I don't know if they're gonna fit, because unfortunately these boots only came in a medium narrow fit. They didn't come in the normal wide fit that Birkenstocks is known for. So a lot of my anxiety is, oh shit, what if they don't fit? Because I really want them to fit. So anyway, that's the contextual background to my anxiety regarding opening these expensive ass boots. So thank you all for this gift that we are about to open. Hey, so serious question, when are you going to visit New Zealand? I don't know. You got an alpaca farm for me to go to? I used to follow this alpaca farm that's located in New Zealand on Instagram. They look fucking amazing. You guys have the best sunset, the best views, the rollicking hills that, you know, like Walt Whitman could dream of, and the cutest alpacas ever. So, anyway, shall we? It's such a small box, too. My neighbors probably hate me. Ha, ha, ha. Ooh, muscle. Interesting. Intriguing. So just a reminder that these boots were $350 USD plus tax, because everything above $100 in terms of clothing is taxed at like 8.875%, I think. So these came to be like $380 plus. There's an envelope. Birmingham, black leather, narrow, size 38. If anybody wants to gift me shoes, there you go. That's my shoe size. Welcome to the Birkenstock family. We sincerely thank you for choosing our footwear. Enjoy many years of comfort with some tips about the Birkenstock footbed and a sticker. How lovely. You could at least give me a pen for $380. All right. Dun 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 dun. Wait. Ooh, it's illustrations. Wow, look at all these cool different shoe types that you definitely can't see because of my shitty phone resolution. I'm sorry, guys. Cool. Cool. Here you go. 38. It's a US 7.5 Birmingham lace mid black. Wow, it comes with a shoe bag that I'll never use. Amazing. Okay, that's what they're supposed to look like. Yes, this is what they're supposed to look like. We shall see if they look like this. Information on our natural leather products. Dear customers, we are delighted that you have chosen a Birkenstock model. We would like to notify you that our high quality real leather shoes may lose some color as a result of normal body heat and skin moisture. This is not a quality defect and is simply a normal characteristic of natural materials. We truly hope you enjoy wearing our footwear. Oh my gosh, I hate it when grains are buggy. A lot of the stuff that I bought from LA last year got bugs in it, and I've never had bugs in my grains, but because of the long neglect I had given them. Yeah, they are like dogs, but they're like friendlier dogs. I feel like dogs are very sharp and Nazi-like. But these are slightly cuter, I think. And the soles are a little bit more flat and not so angular. I'm currently loving the toe box. The toe box is why I got them. So, I don't know. These are actually pretty similar to the white sneakers that I have from Birkenstocks. So, I'm optimistic that these will stretch out and fit my feet. Hi Illinois. They are so cute. Okay. Oh my god, they smell. They smell like leather. Dots actually have a terrible toe box for me. My toes don't fit. My toes don't fit in Docs. I've tried. Here we go. I have seen the brand Duck Feet. They are even more expensive, I think, than Birks. They're very expensive. Hi, Philly. Can you please send over some Philly pretzels, soft pretzels? I miss them so much. Philly does soft pretzel like no one else. Again, I would just like to say that while I could have afforded these on my own with my dead mom money, but I would have never bought them. So thank you again. If they fit, I'm going to wear them every fucking wear, and I'm going to think of all of you. What socks would you wear with these? I don't know. I have these socks on. I don't put cheese sauce or mustard. I just eat the pretzel. We're going to give you guys a real show. Yo, this is like Christmas. I don't think I got a Christmas present this year. So this is it. You guys gave me my only Christmas present, I think. Thank you. Yeah, cue the jazzy music. Wow, this is testing my flexibility. Holy shit. I think I'm gonna need to unlace these a little bit first. Oh, here we go. Slide them in. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be great. My toes are not pinchy. I mean, I'm gonna have to walk in them first, but there's actually a little bit of wiggle room, which I guess is good. My size in Birkenstocks is definitely a 38, but there is a little bit of wiggle room. I am kind of afraid of leather with wiggle room while new because that it just means that they're gonna stretch out. But yeah, I could wear thicker socks for sure. I'm internally screaming. These are the most expensive item I've bought for myself. That is not like essential. Like I've bought computers. I don't even think my first DSLR was this expensive. It might have been. I can't remember. My first DSLR was a Canon Rebel XS. And I actually don't think I bought that for myself. I think my dad might have paid for it because I didn't have money in college. Can you talk about the Jello you ate in your stories? Yes, that is from Taiwan Pork Chop House in Chinatown, Manhattan. Ooh, I'm not a fan of loose threads on a $400 shoe. Is that going to be a problem? Is that going to be a problem? There is a single loose thread. Do you see that? Do you see this loose thread? Anyway, whatever. I feel like a real adult now. The Canon Rebel XS was a great camera that served me all throughout college. I used a 50 millimeter pancake lens on them, which was like 90 bucks at the time. Okay, so back to the Jello. Oh my gosh, I've never put on shoes on a chair. This is not optimal. But this is all for you guys. Not optimal. Taiwan Pork Chop House on Doyer Street in Chinatown, Manhattan. That is the mochi bowl. So it's a dessert. There's options for mango, taro. I got the herbal jelly one. So the herbal jelly is the Jello that you're talking about. It's the dark mucousy stuff. It was delightful. It is a texture heaven for me. I love that dish. Wait, I'm missing all the comments. You're gonna have to come back to me in a sec. Oh, it came with extra laces. Look at that. I have these gray laces that I can put on to match my socks. Okay, I'm reading your comments now. Use a lighter. Okay. Um, I'm also too cheap ass to buy an actual shoe or boot, but here we are. Change for 2023. Let's hope these boots last me 10 fucking years, honestly. Hi, Romania. June getting a workout in. Yep. Nice boots. They look practical wear, not just fashion. Yeah. I don't do fashion only wear. I only do practical wear. Have you heard you have to freeze the boot? Ain't no way I'm freezing these boots. I'm happy if we got any foot fetishists. This content is for you. um, how much was the Vitamix? I don't know. Aaron got that for me, probably 300 bucks, but I did not buy that. I always said I wanted Vitamix, and then Aaron got it. Freezing will shrink the leather. Oh, really? I definitely need some tall socks for these because this ankle is gonna rub, rub, rub. It's gonna take a while. My God. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah. These boots actually are not going to need much stretching. They might need shrinking, but I really don't want to freeze them, guys. That sounds wrong. I don't want to freeze leather. Wow. I feel like a fancy girl right now. So fancy. But definitely will need thicker socks, for sure. Just in time for this winter that will never happen, actually. Are you gonna waterproof them? No. I will want them to look ragged as fuck. I don't wanna... Guys, I don't protect my shit. I ruin them. Okay? I ruin them. Really leaning into the dominatrix lifestyle now. These boots are gonna be perfect for stomping on people who want to be stomped on. I only stomp on with consent. It still is 60 degrees in New York City right now, actually. You know, when it comes to these lives, you never know what kind of content I'm going to give you. That's the surprise element of the lives. I don't know about putting cake on these babies. I don't think they deserve anything less than like whipped cream, maybe. But like the whipped cream has to come from cows from the Hudson Valley who has names and a whole family tree up on the walls of the barn. Dry leather cracks. Okay, I'll think about it. Do you think I could be a good dom? I keep joking about it, but you know, the last time I joked about something was farming, and now I'm in farm school, so you know, through jokes, I am slowly manifesting my life. I'm gonna stand like this for a while to like really bend them a little bit, you know? Crack in this part is what I'm actually most worried about. This part, it feels quite stiff. So we're just gonna, we're gonna do the nice old Asian squat. I'm really hungry. Shall we eat something? Oh, let me show you these things that I got from Trader Joe's so we can do a tax write-off. Tricolored quinoa. Who knew Trader Joe's has quinoa 1 pound for $4, which is the cheapest unit price I've seen anywhere. So, you know, do your heels have to be on the ground for an Asian squat? Yeah, I can do that. My heels can be on the ground. Don't doubt my Asian squat abilities. My God. Also, we got some nooch. I was never a fan of nooch, but for some reason today, I walked into Trader Joe's and I was like, we are going to get some nutritional yeast. So, you know, this. We got it. And guess what, guys? All of you have been telling me that I'm vitamin B deficient. 1 serving of nooch at 1 tablespoon, aka 5 grams, has 190% of your daily needed vitamin B12 content. So, you know, oh, TJ's might have lead in their dark chocolate. I just bought 2 pounds of the dark chocolate yesterday. Lead poisoning for all. And then the third thing I got is dried cantaloupe slices. Now, I have not seen this product before. I do believe it is new. There is sulfur dioxide in this, but it is not sugared. And I tasted 2. It tastes amazing. Now, I did not come up with nooch, by the way. The vegans did, the crazy old vegans. But anyway, if you've ever had Asian candies that are cantaloupe flavored, they have a very fragrant sweetness. Oh, these boots are cutting off my circulation. Standing up. These have that Asian cantaloupe candy flavor to the max. Now, I am actually slightly allergic to cantaloupe and honeydew. They make my gums itchy and a little bit throat itchy, but these do not seem to be giving me any issues. Okay, they are soft. They are not hard. They are like the natural mango slices that Trader Joe's has, or if you've ever had naturally dried papaya, very similar texture. Okay, it's terrible, almost like a thin taffy. And how flexible is she? Wow, just giving you a little bit of everything tonight, huh? So this bag was a little bit of a splurge. It was $4 for 4 ounces. It's not a lot. It's like the size of my palm. But I do believe, for the sheer experience of it, I am so proud of myself for buying it. In fact, I was staring at this bag and I was like, can I justify $4 on a palmful of dried fruit that I absolutely don't need? But you think I can't be flexible while on a chair? You're asking for like crazy content tonight by telling me I can't do shit, guys. Anyway, I thought about this and then I thought about what Mom would say. And if Mom were shopping with me at Trader Joe's and she saw how intrigued I was at this, she would have told me to buy it. Would Mom have bought that bag for herself if she were too intrigued by it? No, absolutely not. She would not. But she would encourage me to buy it because whatever she wanted in life, she waited for me to do it. So I did it. It is super creamy, super floral, super sweet, but not too sweet. Not the kind of sweet that it makes you kind of like choke on your saliva as you swallow it. You know, you all know that sweetness, but I love it. It's got a nice chew. It's got a nice, almost like crunchy texture once your saliva rehydrates it a little bit. It's great. Let's see how flexible I can be while standing on a chair. You ready? I don't think I can get my whole body. There we go. Okay, let's show off the insides of the boots, shall we? Do we like this? Do we like this angle on the boots? Maybe we move it down a little bit. A little bit of yoga for you. I don't know what we call this pose. Is it the tree? Listen, girl, a yoga mat will do nothing to break my fall when the first thing that's going to hit is my head against the countertop, okay? I thought about this. I am the queen of thinking through worst case scenarios. The only way we can know how well they are a fit is if I walk in them in the city. So I'll have to do that soon. What does it come with? Just extra laces. Indeed. Nothing more than that. And they tie them real good, too. Gonna have to figure out how to untie these. It's like a puzzle came with my shoe purchase. First, you must learn how to disengage laces. How's that? These would make pretty good beginner whips, I think. I like the sound that they made too. Nice. I'm gonna enjoy this next phase of my life a lot, y'all. Birkenstocks. They just know what I want it to be and they gave it to me. What can we say? We stand. Definitely not boots that are made for walking in a co-op with. I think my neighbors will kind of flip. But it's almost making me wonder if I should have gone a size smaller. Because normally I don't have this much flex room on a 38. I wonder. I'm loving this energy too. How liberating it is to go around whipping stuff, huh? All right, let's eat something. I will just have you know that if you make Bailey soaked figs, you should not eat half a jar of them in one night, because I did and I suffered. Now, I have not thrown up since the 4th grade, but I came pretty close to it last night. I felt pretty sick. Before you wear them outside, decide on the size so you can still exchange them. Yeah. They made me feel really nauseated, and I didn't feel drunk. Maybe COVID took the ability to feel drunkenness from me, but when I went to the bathroom mirror and looked at myself, my face was like 10 out of 10 Asian flushing. So it was not good. It was terrible. I was like texting Ram throughout it all, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it into the shower or out of it. And but I did. I pulled through. I'm still alive. We're trying on Birkenstock's boots, and you know, that be that. I do wonder. So for people who do wear leather boots, do you start with boots that are tight-ish? Like, I can probably put a finger in the back. Now this heel is too tight. This heel is too high for me to put a finger in there. So, I can't really tell, but we got one yes from Erica. Nausea could have been in part from how sweet the Bailey's was. Sure, that's all possible. But I do feel like my feet are a little bit too loose in these, potentially. Oh, okay, feet to swell. All right. Do we like them? Do we like them? I think we like them. And are they $400 worth? I mean, I think just for this live alone and the craziness that you just witnessed, I think it is worth it. And I do think they are perfect. I also think that it's funny because there were 2 pairs of boots that I was looking at on the website, one of which was only $250, and this one was $350, but you don't want them too long. Yeah, that's the thing. I am worried that they are too long, but I definitely will love them a lot. I already do. I'm just more concerned with the sizing right now, but I think it'll be fine. I do wonder, maybe I should try lacing them up a little bit. But anyway, I was looking at these 2 pairs of boots, and I love them both, but I was trying to decide, obviously they're quite expensive between them to just buy one. And both Aaron and Ram told me to buy the other one, the $250 one. And, oh, what did Desi Life say? Should not hurt. Okay, I saw that one. These might be as tight as they go, actually. I think the laces are already pretty tight. But I think in deciding on this pair, it was like me making a conscious decision to be a departure from my previous self. It seems silly that I'm talking about creating a self with just a pair of boots, but I think part of why both Aaron and Ram said the other one is that they're used to knowing that June. And the other pair did seem a lot more like rugged, less sleek. And this one seemed a little, I don't know, like you said, like a Doc Marten, a little bit harsher, harder, more metallic maybe, and the other one was friendlier and roomier. But I've been thinking about how even external things like clothes can change the way you view yourself. And it's fascinating because we, as a society, kind of function under this contradictory state of saying, well, you know, it's what's inside that matters, but we also have so many industries that sell you external change. And we then also feed into this fairy tale of the outside shouldn't matter and you should value yourself more on the inside and work on inside being beautiful, but like, it's not true. The outside affects the inside too. I think we should just acknowledge that, right? Instead of lying to ourselves in so many different layers. It's just like we're not being honest. I wonder if it's overkill for Birkenstock to send me a pair of 37s and then have them send the 38 back. Maybe I should go an email. Because after all, it is $400. That worked up a sweat. There is actually some arch support, yes. I actually have pretty flat feet, so the arch support on these are pretty good. Can I dance in them? I can't dance, period, but I can squat for you. I don't know how to dance, guys. I'm sorry. Can I go to a store? Yeah, there is a store, but I don't know if they have these boots in stock. These were like apparently membership only boots where I had to sign up for an account online. You don't have to pay for the membership, you just have to sign up for an account. So I don't know if they actually ship to the stores, but I can find out. I normally wear 38s. So that's that. From the amount of money you've saved from ingredients in the past few years should make for the cost already. I especially can't dance the Carlton. That is a deceivingly difficult dance to do right. Are you kidding? There is so much upper lower body like desynchronization. Like that is not an easy dance. Just because Carlton looks like a fool dancing that dance does not mean that it did not take work to reach that level of professional apex of foolery. Size 38 is 7 to 8 or 7.5 more precisely. Yeah. I have to do a little bit of thinking. I hope they won't throw them into a landfill. But yeah, let me take them off before I start eating and spilling all sorts of shit on them. I definitely like the style a whole lot. So even if I exchange it, it'll just be for size 37s, I guess. I don't like how these shoelacers are so poorly made. There's already like snags on them. There's a snag on the shoelace already. Come on, guys, for $400 boots? Okay, thank you for 40 minutes of absolutely clowning. But happy Friday. I'm gonna eat some food, but the bulk of the show is ended. Now we just shoot the bull crap. Is that a saying? I don't know. There was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes. So, somebody reached out on Instagram today asking me if I would basically be like a pen pal. And they said they would contribute to a Patreon if I did that. So then I put out a request of a question in my Instagram stories asking who else would be interested in this. And a lot of people were like, as a woman, having had sketchy interactions in the past, I would not feel comfortable. Got a few of like run away, not safe. But also got a few from female presenting accounts that are like totally in, definitely would pay for you to be my friend, 100%. That is a response that I shared. And I just put up a poll that is asking people, is a paid friend still a friend? And this is actually a topic that I think might be worthy of exploring a little bit. So maybe as I heat up my food, hi London, we can start to think about if a paid friend is a friend and what it would mean to be paid to be somebody's friend. And we could also think about the professions in which we do pay people to give us companionship in some, by Gary, in some shape or form. I mean, isn't an escort also providing friendship in a way? However illusory and fleeting? Oh, Karen. Damn, good luck with mom. Okay, if you're paid, like a job, isn't it like a job where you have an obligation? Okay, is there inherently obligation in a friendship that is unpaid too? I wouldn't mind being a pen pal, but I don't think a paid friend is a real friend. Okay. What happens if in a year or so you begin having legit friend feelings toward that person? Does guilt set in? I don't know, right? Like the dynamic of providing friendship to someone, whether or not it is sold in exchange for a monetary compensation, is still performing friendship. And how long can you perform a role without becoming it? And I think this is a question that like actors deal with all the time, right? Actors who sink very deeply into their roles and feel what the demands of that characterization call for. How do they bring themselves out of it? Does it change them? Does it affect them? Does the filming of that character morph them into someone that they didn't think of themselves to be before? It's a very transformative process. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating my hair. If you had to pay someone to talk to you, I don't know if that would be considered a true friend. How many friends do you have that you don't consider true friends, too? How do we define friendship? I'm really hungry. Pause the comments. Okay, first thing I'm gonna eat is yogurt. Why? I don't know. It's easy to eat. Okay. We got some vanilla yogurt, whole milk. It expired on the 11th of December, which is what enabled me to buy it for $2 because they were like, oh shit, it's sell by 11th, but it's still fine a month later. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Please continue. That relationship could be built over time, though. Rent a girlfriend. Yep. I still need to figure out what a friend is first, honestly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. How do you define what a friend is? Some people have different criteria for what counts as an acquaintance and what counts as a friend and what counts as a best friend and what counts as a friend who you would trust to bail you out of jail. You know? An escort is not a girlfriend, but could it be? I think if you found people who actually worked as escorts and you found Johns, they would all have different answers on this topic. Hi, Malaysia. Again, your handle is young man. Again, I keep thinking this in terms of sex work because that is a form of paid companionship. And there's various forms of sex work too. That's also a topic that's been spinning in my head, is what counts as sex work. In an unpaid relationship, isn't the exchange an option rather than an obligation? I don't know. It depends on your social script and your upbringing, right? Like how many times, and I say this as a woman who was brought up in gendered roles, how many times have you engaged in sexual activity with a person that you love and trust, but you simply weren't feeling it at the time, but you said, hey, I love and trust this person. I don't feel like having sex at this time, but I feel like I should to please my partner. Is that an obligation in a relationship or is that an option? There's like a sliding scale of what an option is and what an obligation is, I think, too, psychologically speaking. But what is left to be sacred? I don't know if friendships are sacred. What if you have love feelings? Do you have to pay them to leave paid friend zone? That's getting way too complicated. That's another live, my friend. What is a true friend? Indeed, what is a true friend? Eric says, I think the discussion starts at what is a friend. I've not had a proper acai bowl. They're too expensive. Paid or, okay, LL says paid or unpaid, I think no obligation because the paid is an opportunity you didn't have otherwise. So it's still like a friend. Interesting. So if someone proposes that I become a paid friend to them, it's an option for me to take up on that offer to be a paid friend for them. So at the beginning of the relationship, there is a moment in which I give consent to participate in the paid friendship. It's not an obligation to accept this offer. I agree with that stance. Yes. I've always believed, Schneckenhaus says, especially sex, that I can't only have it unless it's transactional. There are people like that. Wait, there's a lot of negative words and I'm trying to work out the I've always believed that I can't only have it unless it's transactional. So sex has to be transactional for you? Is that what you're saying? There's a rent-a-friend service. You set rates on what you do. There you go. Freddie says, shouldn't boundaries exist for all relationship types? I think so. And not only for relationship types, but I think you should set boundaries within each specific relationship, even if they're all platonic or they're all romantic. I think especially given different kinds of romantic situations that we have going on now. Verbal communication of boundaries between you and the other person is essential. Um, and I think miscommunication happens and misunderstanding happens and drama happens and heartbreak happens when you don't set those boundaries clearly, distinctively, and verbally. Um, Rebecca says, I feel like I'm a better friend to my friends than they sometimes are to me. A paid friend is a psychologist. I was actually saying that therapists are kind of like paid friends, except they don't have to be your friend, but they do have to have some kind of intimate relationship with you. Given that you are probably telling them your most heartfelt secrets in a way, and they are expected to engage in that dynamic with you. What about OnlyFans? Lots of different relationships and friends there that are paid for. I don't have any experience with OnlyFans, so I don't really know. If they stop paying, what would you repossess? I mean, I would just take away my services, right? It's like Netflix. You subscribe or you don't subscribe. But once you don't subscribe, you probably don't have access to the shows anymore. You don't have access to the content anymore, right? That seems easy enough. How often did you maybe want a companion to do something none of your friends wanted to do? Fascinating. I'm fine being a loner, so. Hi, Gina. Tacy says, a friend in need is a friend indeed. They need someone to talk to, you need money. Do you charge monthly or per conversation? I don't know. Great detail-oriented question that I have no answer to because I have not even decided how to approach this service provision. I feel like this pay to pen pal sitch would get real weird pretty quickly. With weird feelings on both sides, honestly not worth any monetary gain. Do you feel that way about therapy too? Would monetization of personal relationships deteriorate organic communities? Broader public-private sphere type debate gets complicated theoretically. Everything is complicated theoretically, though. You know? Politics, that's as complicated as it gets. Everybody says one thing and does another. Your Instant Pot can make yogurt. I've used it before to make yogurt for Delish. I've never made yogurt myself because I just don't think it's worth it because you still have to buy the milk and milk is not cheap. So see? Okay, Gina's comment. I bought my coworkers lunch because they are work friends and we have gotten to know each other over the past 3 years. Do you think this makes them feel like they have to be friends with me? It's a very interesting question, right? So much of our society is transactional. And so this is why I don't like receiving gifts from strangers, friends, or family, because I feel that in a way I do owe them something. I feel like somebody commented earlier when I was talking about the anxiety regarding unboxing these lovely boots that people gave me money to buy, that I felt that anxiety because I felt like I needed to make a thank you card of sorts digitally to show them like, hey, this is what you got me, thank you so much. And that built up to an anxiety, even though people gave me the monetary gift just to like make me happy, I'm assuming. Um, but I took away from that, I owe you something now. And that's my psychology, and that's my cultural upbringing, and that's my socialization. There's a lot of baggage there that is formulating these mental processes from going on. So I think this is a question, is a paid friendship a real friendship? Um, that could vary from people, um, from person to person. So never thought I'd be watching a live stream of my favorite food content creator discuss the complexities of friendship, capitalism, and leather boots. I'm here for everything, y'all. I'm here for everything. Um, in Australia, as health practitioners, ethically, sites shouldn't keep clients for longer than about 3 years. Whoa! I had no idea. Wow, Aussies setting boundaries. What about the 5-minute conversations that B-list celebrities do where people get to ask you a question and you set a price? Jennifer, literally, I'm giving you guys this content for free. You've been asking me questions for hours, and I've been feeding you all this useless content for years now. Like, we're coming up on 2 years of the live streams now. I think in February. So, hi, Missouri. That sounds delicious. Peanut butter and granola mush. You're not paying your therapist to be your friend. I feel like some people unconsciously or consciously are. The relationship that you have with your therapist can get very interesting depending on the person, depending on their trauma, depending on their needs, depending on whatever fuckery is going on inside their brain that they're trying to sort out. Transference is very much a thing. Projection is very much a thing. Who knows what people are paying their therapist to be, and who knows what people want out of therapy. I think everyone might want something different out of therapy, right? Some people just want to be fixed, whatever that means. Some people just want to talk. Depends. I miss Freddie. How is he? Freddie is good. He seems fine. He's very meowy and spoiled. Hi, Thailand. Joy is greeting the newcomers for me. Thank you, Joy. You could be making a killing if you start charging. I honestly don't know if I would make a killing. I think there are a few people who really desire that one-on-one interaction with me, but I think for the majority of my viewers, they couldn't give a shit about that kind of intensely private parasocial connection. I think most of my viewers are pretty traditionally minded in terms of what counts as a real friendship, and a lot of them feel kind of like skeeved out by this framework of buying friendship. And they also realize that like we can't be friends, right? No matter how much money you pay me, the context of this friendship has been set up in such a way that it has an artificial beginning. We did not meet by chance. You found me on the internet. You saw my video content. Something about me, my personality, or my content drew you to me. You decided to consciously or unconsciously project your image of who I am onto me. And I probably live up to support those projections to a certain extent, that you have now fleshed out this illusion of who I am, which has propelled you to have this desire to befriend me. Without having known me in real life, you don't know the downsides of that friendship. And therefore, if you buy a friendship dynamic with me, you can continue to be served more of your projections. Not more of me, because you won't get me, because you won't get like the bitchy side of me who's PMSing, because of the natural default of the relationship we've set up, which is drawn between person to person, but you are paying me to perform a very specific aspect of myself to fulfill what you want out of me. And I recognize that. Like, a lot of this is service industry. This is as service industry as it gets. It's not replicated on a massively produced or massively consumed level, but it is nonetheless producing a service that is being consumed. So I am producing a self for every person who approaches me to buy a friendship with me in order to sell that self off to the person who wants to purchase. In a way, I am creating a product out of my persona. It may not be a fake persona per se, but it is a hyped persona. And I think you see this shift in persona from my Budget Eats videos and in my live streams, neither of whom form the totality of June, but both approach it. Depending on who I am, what my hair looks like, what I ate that day, what boots I'm wearing, I can be a different June. So in order to dissect who I am, you really can't pin her down. So it's not like I'm selling a lie when I sell you a friendship, but it is made for you. It is a June that is bespoke for you. We should not forget the whip. Hi, Greece. 3 a.m. Wow. Cynthia says, you are not useless content. Why do you always say that? I think it's because our world is filled with so much noise and content that I feel like it is kind of all useless. I'm not saying that in a bad way. Obviously, it is useful to some. But in the grand scheme, big picture way of things, my live streams are pointless, right? They are literally pointless. Tonight had a point. I unboxed the shoes, showed you off. But now what are we doing? We're just talking about friendships and whether or not you can pay for friendships while I'm eating yogurt. Like, this is pointless. This is useless. Who can use this? And it's kind of why I enjoy doing these lives, because they are useless and pointless and they're not very monetizable. Yes, I do create ad revenue from them. I get about anywhere from $13 to $28 per live that I do, but that's not even minimum wage given that I go live for 2 hours at a time, So obviously I'm not doing it for the money, but it doesn't hurt. I can buy weird shit like dried cantaloupe slices at TJ with that ad revenue. I've thought about cameos. I don't want to do them. I have been approached on Instagram DM to record videos for loved ones, and I have done like a handful of those. I've always asked them to donate to their favorite charity as my fee, and I don't really care to make income from every possible stream because I think that is training me Pavlovian style to gear my mind towards monetizing everything about me at every given opportunity. Like, for example, Instagram keeps trying to tell me that I can monetize my reels. And for the longest time, I refused to put posts with just one video in them because Instagram automatically turns those posts into a reel. And lately, I've been posting a single video post, which Instagram turns into a reel, but I've been rejecting their push, their pop-up notifications that say, you could be monetizing these. You could be making $100 or $200 a month off of these. Why? Maybe because I'm stupid, maybe because I'm stubborn, maybe because of both of those things, but mostly because I don't want to give into Instagram's mind game of, hey, you can be making money right now. That is signing myself up to be trained to what the system wants me to do. They're making me think I can get money for something I'm already doing, which is true. But by giving me money for doing what I'm already doing, they're telling me to do more of it, and that's training. So in a way, I'm stupid and stubborn, but also trying to low-key resist the brainwashing of what I do on social media. Um, it's insidious. The slide of social media lifestyle is insidious. Hello, Quebec. Can you date your therapist if you don't see him or her professionally? I feel like they can't be your therapist if you don't see them professionally, right? You could charge for the PMSing side too. I bet you I could. I bet people would just watch me whip shoelaces onto my kitchen counters all day too. There's weirdos everywhere. I embrace them. It is hard to meet people outside of work. I would say, oddly enough, most of the new friends that I've made in the last 10 years are through work or through dating apps. Like, I've managed to keep a handful of friends from dating apps. But that's it. It's really hard. Life. What you gonna do? They don't make it easy for you to build community because that would defeat the purpose of selling you shit, to fill in all the loneliness gaps. I really don't want to do cameos. Something about that whole thing just makes me feel disgusting. I can't explain it right now because I haven't worked it out in my brain, but somebody just telling you to film something for them, like a moving picture of sorts, that they can replay again and again and again, is kind of like pornography in a way. And I'm not comfortable with that idea. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. I would rather participate in a sort of dynamic that just disappears. Will being a paid friend cause you emotional stress? Probably, yeah. When I befriend someone, I feel empathy for them. What do you think you will feel? Absolutely. It's exhausting, right? Friendships are exhausting. Friendships are not free. You have to care for them. But organic friendships work in such a way that you do genuinely care for them in a way that it brings you fulfillment and happiness to care for them. I think that is the dynamic of being a paid friend is, well, I don't know about you at all. I don't know why I'm here with you other than you asked me to be. And so that is a brand new dynamic that I would have to explore. I've never done paid friendships before, but this is how weird our world is getting, right? Like, we don't think about how much paid relationships already exist in our lives, and we certainly kind of shrink back, most of us, at the idea of a paid friendship because it feels wrong, right? Because friendships are supposed to be the one area of life that is a natural gift of sorts, and it's kind of a mutual give and take. So when you add compensation in the form of money, rather than compensation in the form of care and love and acts of service, how does that change? Well, I think that depends on your relationship to money and how you view it, right? Now I think we're gonna eat some peanut butter and figs. Oh, but first, soaked almonds that I need to finish. I have a feeling I'm already very behind on comments, so bear with me. Never heard Jean speak in third person? Really? contributing to the din of the internet, isn't everyone? Cynthia, I don't think I'm mocking viewers. I think you're taking offense at my words, though, and I'm curious to know why. I think I just have such a view on life that nothing is significant, and I think that's the kind of view that most people like to term pessimistic, and they feel like it's an attack on them. But I'm just stating what I believe in, and I try to convince myself that I believe in nothing, because at the end of the day, nothing does actually matter, and I find that liberating for me. So if that gives me the greatest amount of peace, then I would like to afford myself that point of view. I'm not saying you have to agree. Useful is suggestive. Absolutely. Karen, I see you. I see your struggle with mom. I'm breathing here with you. There's nothing more I can do for you than to breathe with you. When shit hits the fan, sometimes all you can do is bear witness. You can't help. So I'm going to be here and I'm going to bear witness. So I agree with Jonathan. He says the question is, who is it that these lives are useful or useless to? That will vary from person to person, I suppose. Absolutely. So I am very happy and fulfilled that some of you find these lives useful. But I also do get comments that are like, what the fuck is this chick going on about? So it is useless to some people. And that's fine. I'm not here to cater to everyone. Gina says, is it hard to make friends outside of work because we are so skeptical of others' intentions? No, I think we're just really awkward as a society and closed off, and we have so many boundaries about what is acceptable and what isn't, right? And as we become adults, we have even more boundaries set up for ourselves that we convince ourselves that it's unacceptable to pay for friendships. Or, you know, I can only become friends with a person if they have this and this in common with me. Gary says, I hear what you mean about the monetization of like social media, but at the same time, don't forget to value your time when it comes to other things. That is something I've been struggling with, especially since getting fired and especially since getting COVID. My energy has been spiking and dropping like a fucking roller coaster on steroids. I find it really hard to concentrate now. I feel like this is the closest I've come to diagnosing myself with ADHD tendencies. And it is very hard to focus on one project. And I am like at the end of the day dealing with this kind of low vibration anxiety. Just a steady strain of anxiety that never quite went away, but I'm trying to get myself to befriend and get used to it. In terms of valuing my time, I don't know if I do value my time, but I do value my peace. And so I may not always understand what actions I need to take to give myself that peace that I need, and it may change from day to day depending on my energy levels and every other context shifts. But I am more mindful now than ever of how to provide myself the peace that I need. And sometimes it means to fucking tell myself to sit down and shut up and calm down first. Because I am the one who raises all the most rackety riots inside of myself first. It's not easy, but I'm doing it because I think I need it. The problem, Jonathan, with moving off to other social media platforms is that there's a very limited audience on those, and I've already built my audience on these platforms. I would never go somewhere else to build a new platform because that's just more work for me. And the amount of consumption that would take place on those platforms might not be worth it for me to build up again. I don't even know what that new social media is, and I wonder how many other people know. And the thing about social media, unfortunately, is it's all about reach, right? It's all about the network and the connectivity and how many people are on these platforms that you can gather together and bond over certain things with. So when you move to a smaller community, who then becomes my audience? Who am I serving? Is it even worth it? Those are the questions that are entering my head. I'm not writing it off, but I'm simply saying that seems more work than it's worth for me. I think if my Instagram came crashing down, I would probably not rebuild it unless I needed to for my livelihood. But I would probably be more likely to just seek a career change and work a job that gives me health insurance rather than stay in a media role where I make content and people feed off of it. Because if I've been somehow disappeared from Instagram, then that means greater forces at work don't like me, right? Instagram and every other social media platform, they silence people. Even accounts with millions of followers get deleted. They get disappeared. These social media platforms, these tech companies are doing the same thing that authoritarian countries have been doing for a lot of time throughout history. And so they are a force to be reckoned with. And, it is scary because they want to force you to play by their rules and not offend their playbook. But it makes me wonder that if they don't like people like me or others that I like, then is that a community that I want to stay in? It sounds like if they don't want me, then I shouldn't want to be on there anymore. It sounds horrible. It sounds scary. It sounds like a dictatorship. So, I mean, Bumble has a friend feature that's not romantically geared. So Gina, you can find friends on Bumble. There's like a platonic friend feature. Um, NYC is not really community oriented. Yeah, and I have to wonder why, sometimes. Let's eat some greens with my cow Kong leftovers from yesterday. I met up with a middle school friend yesterday. I hope he's not watching this live because I'm about to say something that might hurt his feelings, but it's the truth. When I saw him yesterday and my eyes fell upon his face, the first thought that I had was, holy shit, we're fucking old, aren't we? But anyway, we went to Cow Kong, which is my favorite Thai place in Elmhurst, Queens. You pay $15 for a plate of rice and 3 entrees of your choosing. They have like a hot kitchen line, just like those big hotel pans filled with food. There's often like around 10, 12 choices of the day. And they gave me a huge serving, so I took some food home because I had jars on me. Because I was at Aaron's editing and I brought myself some lunch in the jars. And so I'm gonna eat some of these on some arugula. I think we have some sweet and sour pork, some really spicy chicken, and some string beans and seafood. But I'm gonna read some comments first. I feel like a paid friend would need a new word, one that isn't just friend, not a value judgment. I just think it's something different. I actually agree with that. I would be game to come up with a new word for what a paid friend is. And I think it would have to depend on the contract that you set up between you and your patron, right? What kind of items are they desiring from this relationship? And I think pen pal is a very specific ask. Whereas if somebody wanted to like hang out with me and go thrifting, that's a different ask. If somebody wanted to explore food spots with me on a monthly basis, maybe I'll be a food guide or a food buddy, you know? Like, I think those different names can arise. Um, this reminds me of the questions I would ask about my relationship with my sugar daddy. See? You gotta communicate these things. Like, you gotta ask these questions. How about the word confidant? I mean, yes, but that's a very specific type of relationship. That's more of like a friend therapist, I think, for sure, a confidant. Um, Swanky Angelo says, I think there is space for genuine friendships that stem from being paid. I believe that too. I also like the term mentally expensive. Man, so many crushes that I've had are mentally expensive as shit, man. I don't have the funding to do those. Um, Narcissists can only have transactional relationships? Is that true? I don't know anything about narcissists, guys. Um, I'm glad you're not offended by my comments, Cynthia. Thank you for making your observation. Um, cheese curds! Yum. Dead Sea Life says, as we get older, we get more timid about approaching new relationships, both romantic and platonic, I think, anyway. True. Although I think that I've been less timid because my mom died, and that made me kind of like go full YOLO with a lot of things. Um, it's definitely changed the way that I think about how I want to approach relationships when it comes to dating, for sure. Especially given the challenges of dating as someone who identifies on the asexual spectrum and the incompatibilities that arise almost immediately off the bat with people. Um, it's still something that I'm working out. They are doing studies on a potential link between COVID and focus difficulties, but separating the disease impacts from the psychological ones will be extremely difficult. Yeah. I mean, I don't really need studies to tell me what I'm feeling. I just know that COVID has made my life a lot different. I was not expecting this level of change. I was expecting to like potentially lose my sense of smell and taste forever, which thankfully I haven't. But I've gotten so many other side effects that just make me feel drained all the time in so many different ways, mentally, emotionally, um, psychologically, and physically. Most of all, physically is so noticeable, but like my attention span is shot. Yes, I did explain my firing in more than one. I'm afraid I don't want to repeat that anymore. And there is a whole Business Insider article that you can Google. And if you need to get over the paywall, it's called removepaywall.com. Literally, the website is called removepaywall.com. And you just plug in the article link. And you can read about the whole thing. Did you have friends at work or coworkers? A little bit of both. Have you considered setting clearly outlined professional boundaries for how you might behave if you do decide to sell parts of your personality through things like Cameo? I think, Gary, that I haven't had enough asks in order for me to qualify doing that for myself yet, but I think that I should if I do explore more of these paid relationships, and that I also have to prepare myself for the possibility that people will forget, ignore, or willfully cross those boundaries. Given the way that relationships go in real life, I feel like virtual relationships will be even harder to shepherd in a certain way. Kao Kang, KHAOKNKANG. It's in Elmhurst. Um, I also like the food buddy idea. You know, Maybe that should be my Patreon. We got a pen pal layer, we got a thrift layer, and we got a food layer. And they're all in-person services. Maybe that's not a Patreon. Maybe that's just something that like people should DM me about. Maybe you can be an opinionator, someone to bounce thoughts off of. I would love. Should I be writing this shit down? An opinionator? I'm writing this shit down. Throw me all the words. Opinionator just sounds so full of myself. And I also forgot how to spell opinionator. Anyway, I'm never gonna eat, am I? Let's eat. Let's eat. I really want to use chopsticks. I don't know why. I have some arugula washed here that I will now scissor. Yes, you heard that right. I will now scissor the arugula. I guess I could be reading comments while I do this, multitasking. Remove paywall didn't work for you? Why didn't it work? I don't understand. I don't get it. It's worked for me almost every time. No, all the time. Not almost. Whoop! We got explosions. Yikes. Ouch. Once you put like, here, let me just read the comments so you guys have the context clues. Okay, the comment I was looking at was, Gary says, you're absolutely right that people would cross those boundaries. And I appreciate you spitballing. That's basically the entire vibe of these live streams. I think that people will always cross boundaries because they have different viewpoints and perspectives of what is acceptable, but it becomes especially hard once you add in monetary exchange and compensation into the equation because we have such a specific view of what you're entitled to once you pay for something that if people are dissatisfied with my service, they will cross those boundaries because they feel like they probably didn't get their money's worth, right? These are all very sketchy territories to wade in. And if I'm doing them and chartering them for myself for the first time, it will become increasingly difficult to manage if I take on too many of these relationships. Even one can get out of hand with the wrong person. So it is dangerous, potentially. But living is also dangerous, you know? So, I love being a cow. It's funny. So X asks, June, would you ever go work for Bon Appetit? I was actually just talking with an ex-coworker about this. A lot of people are surprised that ever since the article came out about me getting fired that I haven't been poached yet. Literally, nobody has come to me with a job offer, but I'm not surprised by it because jobs are drying up. Food media doesn't know where they're going, and who wants a rabble rouser in their midst, right? I was fully ready for this reception and I prepared myself for it, so I'm not surprised by it. But I was talking and discussing how great of a PR move it would be if Bon App reached out to hire me. Because they got canceled 2 years ago for not paying their POC properly. And what better way to redeem themselves than to hire someone who got fired for speaking out, right? But I don't think I would want to get back into the media game unless it was a very, very interesting offer. Because I think, unfortunately, the landscape of the industry has not changed at all. Just based on how anti-union they are, given that it's a multimedia corporation of sorts with, whole histories in these legacy brands, it's the same people in control of power, no matter what brand you go to. The New York Times is being fucking anti-union too right now. So, they're all the same. Are some worse than others? Mm-hmm. Arugula. How do you know how many stomachs I have, Pim? How do you know? Yeah. Gary says the history of Hearst Media is hilarious evil going back like 100 years. So last year they were celebrating their 135th anniversary. Hearst, if you Wikipedia that, made their name on crafting yellow journalism, which is basically fake news. They started their legacy based on crafting fake news. Their fake news was so potent that it created a whole war. I believe it was the Spanish-American War. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And it caused, let me just say that Hearst's fake news caused a whole war. That's the legacy that this company continues to build on. Hi, Allie. So, media has never been the ally of truth. Media manipulates truth. Media repackages, plagiarizes, paraphrases truth to make it insanely delicious and digestible for you to consume like a fucking bag of junk food. That's what media does. So do I want to go back into that meat grinder? If it's interesting enough and I'm masochistic enough, I won't say no to my future self. I don't know what my future self will do. But right now, having just lost my mom, having just had COVID, having to deal with like a lot of shifts in life, I'm good. I'm gonna stay out of the meat. I'm gonna stay out of that meat grinder. I still have other meat grinders to be put through. Because guess what? We live in a society that loves to grind its meat. I just want to be in one fewer meat grinder. Farm school just picked up. We started our second course, which is food justice. We've only had one Zoom class so far this Wednesday. We will have our second session on Saturday. It's very interesting. It's unlike any other school I've been in. I don't even know what this course will be looking like at all yet either, so I'll keep you updated. But all I can say is it's a very interesting learning model. It's a very interesting experience. It focuses a lot on community building and sharing, and less on agenda driven classes. So it's a very new learning model for me to digest, but I'm appreciating it for the diversity of life experience that it's opened up for me. In terms of like community guidelines, one of them has stuck with me that I'm still mulling over, over a month later, which is assume positive intent. I have a hard time assuming positive intent as a person who's immigrated twice before the age of 8. I think I've learned coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms that have told me to not assume positive intent, because misunderstanding, miscommunication, and just straight up bullying and racism has told me that you can't trust everyone that you come across. But I think it is time for me to, as an adult in my 30s, potentially start to undo some of those defense mechanisms. Yes, I will get hurt, and yes, I will get scandaled and cheated and whatever. But I think it's worth it for me to try to assume positive intent more in my life, because always living under the framework of not trusting others is also entirely exhausting. And it's not something that I would wish on myself if I can help it. Gina, another Gina says, happy Friday. Would you be open to getting paid to review restaurants and food places? Really love the way you describe food and how it tastes. Okay, so here's the thing. I would love to review food, but the way that food reviews currently work are very difficult to navigate for me in terms of my values. I want to be honest, but food review in its essence is very subjective. And if people believe in what you say and hold it to be a truth, then you could very easily destroy someone's livelihood, which is not something that I want to do with my time on Earth. But in not speaking my full opinion of something, what does that do for the framework of reviewing food? So that's something that I've always struggled with. I think power dynamics are becoming increasingly apparent to me in how exploitative they can be, and how we unknowingly consent to playing into power dynamics in life. And food reviews are one of those things that I've come to really find difficult to accomplish without creating destruction, like I just did to my silk shirt. For example, I've told my friends for years that I cannot stand Pete Wells, who is a food reviewer for the New York Times. I find his reviews to be so well written that they highlight his ability to write well. And they highlight his expertise of his ability to spin his own opinions into something that people take to be an objective review. And I find his impact on businesses intolerable sometimes. In fact, one of the worst meals, not because of the food quality, but because of the whole dining experience. One of the worst dining experiences I've ever had was following one of his like 4-star reviews. So ever since that experience, I was like, yeah, he's writing from his perspective, which is that of a white dude who probably maybe never feared food insecurity, maybe never grew up eating out of the dollar bin. I don't know his background. I'm just assuming. So you could say that I'm bullying him right now, but I don't vibe with him. I don't vibe with his words. I don't vibe with his reviews, but he holds power. As a food reviewer for the New York Times, his stars change a business. I've worked in restaurants, back of house, where I've seen the entire tone of the kitchen shift as soon as a food reviewer walks into the door. Everybody tenses, everybody's like nervous, everybody's running around prepping the best version of everything for him, and the head chef takes over making all the dishes that go out to that table. They're supposed to be anonymous, but they aren't. It's all a play, it's all a farce, it's all a system that we play into. So, would I get paid to write food reviews? I would have to rethink how to write food reviews. That is serving everyone without causing detriment, because we already have so much detriment going on. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. How do you express your opinion without tearing down others is hard. I actually just started watching Gather yesterday, Karen, but my Netflix expired today, so I didn't get to finish it because I fell asleep during half of it because I was so tired. My PayPal, I don't know what my PayPal is. I mean, it's tied to my email on my phone, but I don't know if I have a username. But my Venmo is the same as my Instagram handle. So, thank you, Joy. Hi, Beijing. How are you doing in Beijing? Hi, Mel. And let's see, what else? Grubhub or to-go orders from friends' account? Okay, would you ever start a restaurant? No. Not after I've worked in them. Absolutely not. That's a no. I don't know, guys. Restaurants really have to change. It's not, like 99% of our world, it's not sustainable. I don't know. I think I'm just waiting for everyone to burn themselves to a crisp. Not like I need to wait that much longer if you're catching this weather in New York. Okay. Can I get a final vote on should I exchange the boots for one size smaller? It's not sliding off my feet, but there is some movement. Given that it's a new pair of boots, would you ever be a home cook that caters food for folks on those websites? Maybe. Depends. I think they would have to know what kind of food that I cook, and they would have to know me, and they would have to know that it's gonna be weird, for sure. It's not humid in New York, but it is like fluctuating between 45 and 58 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it feels like March to me and not January, so it's kind of terrifying. Lucy says, in Beijing, the weather is freezing, majority population is recovering, old peeps are dying, traffic is terrible, nice boots. Beijing is going through it right now. All of my family got COVID. They're recovering from different kinds of post-COVID symptoms. My uncle told me a story of his friend's brother who got COVID recovered, felt fatigue, but decided to go back to work and wanted to push himself through the fatigue to do work, ended up getting hospitalized 2 days later, and then ended up dying 2 days later. So if there's one thing that I've learned after getting COVID, it's that you really need to fucking pay attention to your body's limits. Because if you don't, and you try to push your body beyond what your body is telling you it's capable of, you might die, and then you won't get to do anything else, which is what happened to mom probably. So don't be mom. Did I try them on with thick socks? No, I tried them on with these socks. They're not that thick. But they're not thin either. Capitalism was a great replacement for feudalism, but that doesn't mean that progress should just stop. Do we think we've made progress since feudalism? Debatable. I think with retrospect, we feel like we've made progress, but have we? Or has costumes just changed a little bit? You have lots of protein powder. Which is your favorite? I like Orgain, but a lot of people don't like it. I don't know. They all taste kind of weird. A reason why I liked your videos from Budget Eats is that you introduce products like lotus root to many folks in US or globally that may have never consumed, that may have never been given the chance to consume. Yeah, so get ready for that H Mart haul video. I just finished the first rough cut, so I'll have to work on putting in some music for the boring parts and putting some text in there to tell you that it's been a new day and trying to make sure I don't have major editing errors. But guys, that episode is going to be 2 hours long. So if you thought Budget Eats was long, get ready for longer. I'm trying them on at night, Lori. It's currently 8:48 p.m. in New York. What is the return policy on paid friendships? Woof. I don't know. I think that's like a no exchange, no refund situation. I'm glad you got a cleaver. They're very cool. So what happens if I want to wear these boots in the summer when I don't want thick ass wool socks on my feet though? That's the question. Memes are pretty tight now. I don't even know if they had memes back then. Do you think? Do you think they had memes? What kind of memes did they have back in the feudal ages of humanity? Have you tried Orgain's coffee flavored? I haven't, but that was my favorite Soylent flavor, is the vanilla coffee one. Lori says, can you make the bookie? Lori, I make it in the H Mart haul video. So I think a few of you are going to enjoy that episode. And yes, I will be premiering it so I can watch it with you guys and comment on it. Can you make the video a two-parter? No, I refuse to do a two-parter video because I don't actually think they perform very well, and I think I've become known for my epically length videos that I think 2 hours feel appropriate for the first ever self-edited video since my firing. The series is not going to be called anything because it's not a series, guys. If I have to make this H Mart haul video again, I might die. Budget Eats used to take 6 to 8 weeks to complete. Obviously, it has all the bells and whistles of graphics and animation. This won't because I don't know how to do those things, but I shot this starting in mid-December, and because I don't have my own computer set up yet, it's been very hit and miss with working with Aaron's computer and his schedule, but it might take me 6 weeks to do this from start to finish as well. I hope you don't hype up this video because you gotta lower your expectations for greater happiness. I've taught you this ever since 2019, so pay attention. The key to happiness is low expectations. Cool? Cool. Okay, I'm gonna eat the rest of my food. I'm gonna bid you goodbye. My stress stomach ache is setting in for I don't know what reason, but thank you so much for tuning in. I will consider returning the boots for a smaller size and trying that out. I appreciate your advice and happy Friday.